In my last gaming video, I had a pleasure to test iPhone 13 Pro in gaming, in action. By the way, part 2 of that video is still gonna come out. So if you want me to play on that phone 13 Pro some specific games you actually like and you want me to play them, make sure to list them down in the comments. I'll gladly read that and make part 2. But today we are testing the iPhone 7 like in gaming, which is crazy. It's a 5-year-old phone that I'm gonna be testing right now. How it's gonna doing, how's the performance gonna do, the bar life, the screen, the comfort of gaming. If you have seen my iPhone 13 Pro gaming video, you will know that I was extremely pleased with the overall performance of that phone and how it was overall handling games, bar life, heat. Everything was just stellar. But how's the 5-year-old iPhone 7 gonna perform? Yeah, we are about to find this out. But before we do, make sure to press the like button, smash that subscribe button, and if you like gaming content, if you like some of the gaming tests that I do on these devices, make sure to press that subscribe button, because actually many people make great reviews about phones, but very few of them make some solid gaming tests. So yeah, you wanna see more of that? Smash that subscribe button. And now, to the point finally. But before we start our gaming test, just quickly confirming the software, iOS 15.1, the latest, the greatest iOS on this phone. You know, it's still being supported even after 5 years, which is absolutely insane. That's why we are doing this. We want to see how well this phone can actually handle gaming in the year of 2021, actually approaching 2022. So it's gonna be a really interesting test. And now quickly confirming the battery life here and overall battery performance. 95% capacity after like 3 years after the battery was replaced. So not that bad at all. It's not like it has 75% capacity. So it's still fairly reasonably well, which like most iPhone 7s should have about that capacity if you are interested to buying that, or even smaller. So pay attention to that. Also right now we are at 53% battery capacity. And the other thing before we start our gaming test is the storage on this phone. 32 gigabytes, definitely not gonna cut it when it comes to gaming. You know, I have this trouble. I had to offload almost all the apps that I had on this phone. Gladly, it's not my main driver anymore, so I could afford to do that. But if you want more, definitely make sure, you know, to buy 128 gigabytes because, you know, definitely not worth. But yeah, about buying, like we gotta do the gaming test and then decide if this phone is even worth buying for gaming. So without my unnecessary talking out of the way, let's just get to that. And the first game we are gonna be testing in Subway Surfers. I mean, why Subway Surfers? On iPhone 13 Pro it was kind of a joke or something like that, but this is a 5-year-old phone. And whoa, that speaker kinda blew, but like we wanna see the overall performance of some simpler games start a little bit easier and wrap the engine a little bit later and see how the overall performance in gaming is. With Subway Surfers, I don't see many differences compared to the 13 Pro. I mean, the screen is not as vibrant, the overall colors are not as great, but like it's still a fairly reasonable screen, small, but like for gaming in Subway Surfers, this is no problem whatsoever. It has rounded edges, so no problems when it comes to holding the phone and overall performance in a game like that. Like again, no problem even for a 5-year-old phone. Everything is performing very decently. And a game like Subway Surfers, you like simple games or stuff like that, you're definitely gonna enjoy that on this phone. So yeah, in that simple games, no problems. But I think that some problems may start appearing once you get to that more advanced games like Call of Duty Mobile, maybe Minecraft, or maybe not. We're about to witness that. But like again, the small screen size here, it is an advantage. But how it's gonna be in some other games? Well, let's find out. Okay, we are right into the game and we can see like again no problems. What would we expect actually in a game like that? Not too demanding, nothing really happening. But again, if you are buying a 5-year-old phone, I don't think you're a pro player that you know what's the best possible performance of all time. You maybe wanna play some casual games, and with games like Subway Surfers, Mario or stuff like that, you're definitely gonna have a nice time playing and you're not gonna complain to the performance. One thing which you can complain is actually the bar life, because this was a big issue on this phone. It's a small battery, and if you're buying this phone, the battery is probably degraded to a certain degree. Also, the newer version of iOS 15, the early version of iOS 15, are not that kind when it comes to battery life. So yeah, that's gonna be a big issue if you are into longer gaming sessions. But other than that, for something casual, some fun, like not many problems when it comes to that. And with Mario, again, no problems. And now moving on to the real test of the performance and battery life and overheating and speakers, which is Call of Duty Mobile. Okay guys, we are finally in Call of Duty Mobile. This time I spared you the loading times because let's face it, it took a while. I mean, it's not the newest phone, it's not the greatest hardware, so obviously it's gonna take a little bit of time. But now I just wanna see the overall performance, and maybe let's comment on the speakers at first, since this is probably the easiest part. We have stereo speakers. This was the first iPhone to introduce, so they are not the worst. It's not a tragedy. I mean, if you compare that to the 13 Pro, I mean, obviously it's gonna be awful. But like, assuming you're buying 5-year-old phone or you have that phone, these are not the worst. You can actually get used to them. I will give you a little bit of a quick demo. So yeah, let's get to that. So as you can see, despite not downloading, because I didn't have actually the storage, despite not downloading, all the files necessary to require the best audio experience, like it's still fairly decent. Of course, bad compared to the newer models, but it's doing kind of reasonably well. You can always use some AirPods or stuff like that and you're gonna have way better experience. But when it comes to the performance, not that many problems. I mean, if you can actually go to graphics and check some graphical settings, we are running medium frame rate, we are running medium quality, so like you're not gonna get the best settings out of this phone, but like the gameplay is very smooth, the performance is acceptable. Once you put a case, actually, the overheating may be a little bit of an issue. That's what I had when I played on this phone for a while, like 30 minutes in a case. There were some drop frames because the phone was getting hot and the case was kind of blocking the heat dissipation, so like that was a problem. But other than that, not that bad. If you like the smaller screen size, which for gaming is not the best, let's face that, then I think you are gonna be pretty fine. It's doing surprisingly good for a 5-year-old hardware on that game, since this is not some Subway Surfers on some super light game. It's actually fairly demanding game that I'm playing on M1 iPad Pro with 120 FPS, but here it's not that bad of an experience. I moved here from 13 Pro, and I'll be honest with you, before the test I expected to tell you something like, damn, I shouldn't have played on 13 Pro because here it's so bad or whatever. But it's actually not. It's actually playable. The screen size is really small. As you can see, I haven't even adjusted the controls, but like, look at that. It's performing really decently, no problems, to be honest. I'm actually being first, probably because the competition is pretty weak, let's face that. But like, things are doing really well. I mean, the screen, yes, it's small. The battery life is gonna be awful when it comes to gaming. It's gonna last you like what, max 2 hours in gaming like that? If anything, maybe not even, maybe even less or so. But like, if you wanna play this game just for a while, just casually, one match, and you wanna have fairly decent experience, I'm actually very surprised with the results, because like, just look at that. Everything is just working, no chops, no drop frames. I mean, show me another 5-year-old phone that's gonna do that. Like, not being really too much of an Apple fanboy, but just look at that performance, like insane for a 5-year-old device. I think this is just a testament for Apple Silicon, how well it's designed, how efficient it actually is with the hardware that's being given. I'm absolutely, to be honest, surprised and blown away by the performance and the overall gaming capabilities of this phone in this game. Absolutely insane result when it comes to that. So I wasn't clickbaiting you when I, called in the title something like insane result or whatever, because this clearly is an insane result, seeing like the newest, the popular game like that, Call of Duty, working that well on a 5-year-old iPhone. I mean, full credit to this phone, because I didn't expect I would be actually talking like that in this video about this phone. I expected the experience to be awful, and it's not great because of the screen size or whatever, but like for some form of gaming, mobile gaming, it's not doing that bad. The only limitations are storage and actually not performance, the overall size. So if you, for example, go with iPhone 7 Plus with more storage, then the battery life is gonna be better, the overall screen size is gonna be bigger, you are not gonna have too many problems with loading things because there is not enough storage. So like, yeah, it's still a fairly decent option for some casual gaming. Of course, not pro gaming, but like casual mobile gaming. This phone, after 5 years, is still getting the job done. And this is just unbelievable, guys. Also, if you're interested in the heat, I haven't noticed any overheating whatsoever. I expected this phone to be extremely warm, extremely hot, stuff like that happening. Not really. The display still looks fairly decent. As you can see, after one match, barely one match, not even finished, we dropped like 7%, so the battery performance is really poor. But this is a 5-year-old phone, the battery is small, it's also a little bit degraded, also the software is not helping. So for overall gaming experience, not the best, but surprisingly good for a 5-year-old phone. And that about wrap things up with the iPhone 7 gaming test. Surprisingly good performance for a 5-year-old phone. As I said, do I recommend this phone for like gaming, for you to buy? Not necessarily, not necessarily. If anything, if you really want that form factor, I would be looking for the iPhone SE 2020, but some cheaper deals, definitely not $400. This is just totally unacceptable. But like the overall performance of the 7, Jesus, like it's even hard for me to hide the surprise that I'm having on camera, because like I didn't expect this phone to do that good, to be that smooth, and to actually perform that decently. And don't get me wrong, as I said, the performance is not gonna blow you away, the battery life is really bad, the screen size is not comfortable, the speakers are far from good, but like for a 5-year-old device to still push the newest Call of Duty Mobile and actually make it fairly decent experience, like this is just a mind-blowing. And this is a testament for an iPhone 7 and its quality even after 5 years. So I hope you did enjoy the gaming test. If you did, make sure to press the like button, subscribe for content like that and much more, since as I said, many people make reviews, but very few make some solid gaming tests. I hope this gaming test didn't disappoint you, hope it was solid. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time.